What's good, fight fans? It's Unsensation TV here. We better get into a topic that is kind of exhausting, but nonetheless, it keeps on going on and on and on and on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about none other than the heavyweight division, specifically two individuals: the interim champ, Tom Aspinall, and the undisputed champ, John Jones. So, right now it appears that Tom Aspinall is waiting for Jones to fight. He's waiting for it to get set up. But Jones is currently filming a TV show, an international TV show. They have been trying to get this situated for I don't know how long, but it's not necessarily just this, but it's Tom Aspinall getting back into the octagon in general. Because if the undisputed champ is not available to fight and you are currently the interim champ, you feel what I'm saying? One of you got to step in there. Because the rest of the division is looking at both of you like, okay, what are we chasing? What are we fighting for? Now, like I said, this is the fight game, and this is also real life shit. You don't know what's going on. We all got lives, we all human beings. But this is it's just throwing me for a loop because we're approaching a year. We're approaching a year. I believe it'll be a year since Tom Aspinall stepped into the octagon. It'll be a year. The last time Tom Aspinall stepped into the octagon was UFC 304, July of 2024, where he got a first round KO against Curtis Blades, which, if you know, he avenged his loss to Curtis Blades from 2022 back at UFC Fight Night London. But yeah, ever since then, we have not seen Tom Aspinall. Last time we saw Jones was November 16th against Stipe Miocic, where he scored a third round KO. But yeah, there are literally no signs, no traces of either champion. And the heavyweight division in general is just stalling at this point. So this has led to an MMA fan starting up a petition to strip John Jones of the UFC Heavyweight Championship. This just came out of left field. This just came out of left field, but you just see it everywhere. Everywhere you look on Instagram, everywhere you look on Twitter, everywhere you look on YouTube. Oh, he's ducking, he's ducking, he's ducking, he's ducking, he's ducking. And then this petition gets created to strip him. And it's literally about to approach 200,000 signatures. That's insane. So we clearly know where the fans stand when it comes to this whole thing. A good amount of individuals thought it was over after he defeated Dominic Reyes back in 2020 at UFC 247. Everybody's thinking, oh, he's never coming back. He's going to retire. That's it. That's it. Oh, he's done. He's done. So he takes a hiatus and he comes back. And the first fight back, he is making his heavyweight debut against Ciryl Gane. And he submits him in the first round. got him up out of there like it was nothing. I mean, look at his face. Even Cyril Gahn was shocked. Like, what the hell did that just happen? You know, this is why it's hilarious when, you know, a fighter says, oh, I can beat him. I can beat him. I know I'm going to beat him, yada, yada, yada. And then they actually have to step in there with him. And it's a completely different result. So, yeah, Gahn got a taste of that. Round one finish. So then there's a canceled bout against Stephen Miocic in 2023. The fight gets rebooked at UFC 309, and he stops Miocic in the third round. So then everybody's like, okay, now it's time. You could either fight Aspinall, or maybe we can get Barrera to move up to heavyweight, and we can get that fight. But we're ultimately left with neither fight. Tom Aspinall then proceeds to try to lure him back into the octagon online, back to 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 back. He wants that fight bad. But, you know, Jones, he controlled back. And when it comes to making you wait, he will make your ass wait. Believe that. So we are now at a standstill. Jon Jones is currently filming a show, and Tom Aspinall is doing what he always does, training and looking for a fight. I'm pretty sure Jones is training too, but you got to think about it. Jones has achieved so much in this sport. He honestly does not need to fight one more fight. He does not need to make another walkout. He does not need to do any more weigh-ins, nothing. Like, if he really wants, we can retire right here, right now. I mean, honestly, he could have retired right then and there after he beat Dominic Reyes. But he didn't. And here we are. Like I said, we're at a standstill. The fights are the fans are clamoring for this fight, just like they clamored for a fight years ago with Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou. But obviously we didn't get that because Ngannou departed from the company, made his way to boxing, and now he's currently signed with the PFL. So yeah. The main thing on everybody's mind is, should Jones be stripped? A lot of people think he should be stripped. If you don't want to be active, if you don't want to fight, if you're just, sitting here holding up the division, then what's the point? And I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, you could say the same thing for Aspinall. He is literally in peak physical shape. He is in the prime of his career, and we have not seen him step into the octagon since last July. It's almost been a year. It's almost been a year, buddy. Honestly, I am very, very, very anxious to see both of them get back in the octagon. Whether it's against each other or Jones decides to retire and Tom Aspinall finds a new opponent like Cyril Gahn. But I would much rather see this fight get booked. When you've been doing this for so long, like Jones, you kind of start leaning into retirement. You kind of, just get that feeling like, do I really want to do this? So I'm pretty sure those thoughts have been lingering for a while. But man, if you really think about it, a lot of fans view him as the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the greatest to ever step inside a UFC octagon. Many fans believe that it's John Bones Jones. And this is the perfect moment to cement his legacy. He already knocked off a surging contender in Ciryl Gane. He already beat, you could say he's old, he's washed, whatever. He just beat the so-called new generation GOAT heavyweight in Stipe Miocic. And now, coming back for one more fight and beating Tom Aspinall. Not only if he beats him, but if he finishes Tom Aspinall. That would be a hell of a way to cement your legacy and leave the sport for good. Because I understand that, he doesn't have to do it. And, by any means, like I just said, he's achieved so much in this sport, he doesn't have to do it. But, there's something in you. And everybody's just on your fucking neck 24/7, 365. Because I'm pretty sure people say it to him in person too. When are you going to fight Aspinall? When are you getting back in there? This, that. Oh, you're a duck. You're this, you're that. It's just a fire that gets lit in you when so many people are doubting you and your back is against the wall. This is the perfect send-off, and this is the biggest fight that you can make in the UFC not only in the UFC heavyweight division, but probably the biggest fight that you can make in the UFC in general right now, next to Eliezer Poirier versus Islam Makhachev. These are the two biggest fights you can make. Just keeping it real. But yeah, we'll see what happens. What do y'all think? First of all, are you Team Jones or are you Team Aspinall? Second of all, what do y'all think should happen? Should John Jones ride off into the sunset? Should John Jones fight Tom Aspinall and then ride off into the sunset? Should Jones fight Aspinall and Alex Pereira and then retire? Or should Tom Aspinall just forget about the fantasy fight against Jones and fight Ciryl Gane? Move on and fight Ciryl Gane. Let me know in the comments. But regardless of what happens in our beautiful sport of MMA, hey, we're just fans, we're just spectators at the end of the day. With that being said, shout out to Jones, shout out to Aspinall. Can't wait to see y'all get back out there. And fight fans, with that being said, we out. One love, God bless. See you in the next one. Peace. Love y'all.